Beep, 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 beep. Hello. How are we doing, good peeps? Onwards, as they say. So, what have we got for you today? Well, it's more on BLM. After that Kendi thing I did. You know, it just seems to be coming up at the moment. I don't know why. It does sort of raise its ugly head every now and again, and it's raised its ugly head today. So I can give you something to talk about. Edward Colston, you want to talk about him? Slaver, blah, 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 all that stuff. Now, if you remember, during Black Lives Matter, when all those silly riots and people got involved in without knowing what it was, I mean, you would have thought that so many people were so unthinking. All it took me was 20 minutes. What's this about? Oh, right, that's what it's about. And they all got out on the streets. Black Lives Matters. To support a profoundly disturbed organisation that wants to undermine everything, including the nuclear family, and that doesn't believe that there should be barriers between adults and parents because they see everything, adults and parents, between adults and children, because they see everything through a queer and trans lens. And yet thousands of people across the country went, yeah, we'll go for this. Just shows you, right? Most people are sheep. Right? Most people are sheep. That's what makes them dangerous. Nothing more dangerous than the mob. That's what the middle classes fear the most, isn't it, the mob? Right, okay. Enough blither blather from me. So, Bristol, Black Lives Matter March organiser admits fundraiser fraud. Oh, dear. Oh, dear. Huckster admits hucking. Grifter admits grifting. Patrice Couleurs, all that lot, you know, the set all that, those three, have you ever seen them? They're just, you know, nasty people, right, okay? So, this is something in Bristol. They pulled down the Edward Colston statue, dragged it and stuck it in the river, right? And then they went to court and the judge let him off. I'd have stuck him in jail forever. How dare you? How dare you make that decision? How dare you think that you're above the law? But no, didn't happen. Oh, I understand. No, we shouldn't have understood anything. They were nutters then, they're nutters now. An organiser of... Why is it so many people have got BLM in their Twitter profile? They start when they're going on about the gender identity ideology stuff. And you look at their profile and it says BLM, and then it's got BLM and it's got Myers-Briggs, INTJ. It's like all the lunacy in the world has been put in one container. So we've got the full shilling here. An organiser of the Black Lives Matter protests has admitted taking money from a fundraising page set up before the toppling of Edward Colston's statue. Zara Salim was one of the organisers of a protest held in Bristol in response to the murder of George Floyd by police in the US. It is alleged the excess funds from the fundraiser were supposed to be given to a youth charity. She stole the money from a youth charity. From a youth charity. Oh, this money's for the kids. Right, I've got that. Yeah, you've got it. I mean, you literally had got it. Literally, right? It is alleged, Salim admitted one count of fraud at Bristol Crown Court on the 19th of September. She is due to be sentenced at the same court on the 31st of October. Edward Colston's statue was torn down in Bristol in 2020 during anti-racism protests which had taken place across the UK. Salim, 23, of Romford, was one of 5 people behind the group All Black Lives Matter UK. Who organised the protest from Romford, mind. See, so it's a cell. They're working as a cell. Yeah. Organised the protest on 7th of June 2020. In the days leading up to the protest, Salim organised a fundraising page for personal protective equipment to legally facilitate the march held during the COVID-19 pandemic. An agreement is said to have been made that any excess funds would go to Bristol-based charity Changing Your Mindset Limited. In January, Bristol Magistrates Court was told that the fundraising page had raised tens of thousands of pounds. But the charity never received any of the funds that were raised. Why are people so gullible? Why? Wait for it. Salim was also charged in connection with a second fundraising page following the protest to raise money for the legal costs of those facing charges. Those funds are again alleged to have not been handed over. At a further case management hearing, Salim pleaded guilty to one count of fraud by abuse of position in relation to defrauding the charity Changing Your Mindset. She is accused of committing both offences in Tadpole Garden Village, Swindon, Wiltshire. And then they've got a picture of a typical BLM supporter, you know, which are essentially Antifa, hard left nutters, the same ones that turn up and bother and assault women every time women get together to have a conversation. It's a bitter pill to swallow, isn't it, that the whole thing's tied in. Queer theory, critical race theory, BLM. You don't think Just Stop Oil around the corner? They are. Just Stop Oil are just around the corner. So they set up pages, they make money, they spread their message of hatred everywhere, and then they walk away with the money. That's what they've done. That's what BLM is. Okay? And people go, yes, but that's not all of BLM. No. The entire brand is screwed. Right? Okay? It is an absolutely vile, offensive, society-hating, queer and trans lens bunch of lunacy. And you shouldn't support it in any format whatsoever. In any format. People say to me then, yeah, but you're white. Okay. It's all right. Don't listen to me. If you'd like to understand a bit more about what's going on in that arena, you can always listen to Coleman Hughes. You could always listen to Thomas Sowell. I would say to you that there's a lot of people out there you could listen to. You don't have to listen to me. Right? My problem with it all is that they should have gone to jail because they pulled down the statue. It wasn't their decision to make. Right? And they went above the law. But the law is so weak in this area now. So weak in this area now. That should have been a prisonable offence. It's violence in the public square. I've got no tolerance for violence, eh? But yet our tolerance for violence seems to be growing. Seems to be growing. Oh, what? You beat up an old woman? Oh, it's 25 hours community service and a lollipop. You know? Violence, that's the issue. And it's always been the issue for me because I was a victim of tremendous violence when I was a child. So I you know, not least of all because I was feminine and a bit gay. A bit of a gayer. I'm now a massive gayer. Literally and figuratively. A sort of bloated big gayer. Me. Big old gay! Right? And I don't give a shit anymore. But when I was 12, I gave a shit then. And nobody was there. Well, I did. Sadly. That's happened to so many young people my age. Then, you know, when I was growing up as a teenager. It was brutal. Yeah. Violence. That's what the problem is. And BLM, to me, is just violence. That's all it is. It's just violence. Just violence, anti-society, anti-human, anti-reality, and anti-harmony violence. Because they don't want a harmonious world. They're the anti-racists in full blow. Next time somebody asks you if you're anti-racist, say no. See what their face does. What? It's like you poked them in the belly with a hot poker. You go, are you an anti-racist? No. Heretic! Burn him! Why aren't you an anti-racist? Because it's a totalitarian ideology which sees things with a queer and trans lens and therefore wishes to undermine the family and to ensure that there are no boundaries between adults and children. That's why I'm not a follower of anti-racism. So you don't think BLM was a good thing? No. Why don't you think BLM is a good thing? See my previous response. That's the truth. I'll see you later. All right, folks. Bye-bye.